Imagine a shared web resource, something millions of people use every day, that can block spam as part of its core design. Not as an add-on or a plugin, instead it's baked right into the rules of how the system works. Now imagine that resource is a blockchain, and the spam blocker is a tiny rule that quietly affects every transaction you've ever made. I'm Stephanie from Two Lovelaces and Lido Nation, and today we're talking about min UTXO value, one of Cardano's parameters that isn't flashy, but it's important and dependable. If you've ever wondered why your wallet shows a bit more ADA than you can actually send, this is the little guy responsible. Min UTXO value stands for minimum unspent transaction output value. I know, your eyes are glazing over already, but hang with me. Here's the idea. Every time a transaction creates an output on Cardano, basically every time ADA or tokens are sent, there has to be a minimum amount of ADA attached. Even if what you're really sending is a token or an NFT or a bundle of tokens, in every case, there has to be a minimum amount of ADA included. So why? Well, because without a minimum, someone could spam the network with zillions of tiny, near-zero outputs. Like imagine sending 1 million Hosky tokens to everyone on the planet, one at a time. Hosky tokens are famously low value, so you could probably afford to do it, if that's all there was to it. But there would be consequences for the whole rest of the blockchain. All those millions and zillions of transactions would slow down traffic, and the records of them would be part of the permanent ledger, potentially affecting its efficacy forever. So min UTXO value is like a small deposit that you make, paying to take up space in the system. It's not really a fee because you get it back when you spend that output again, but it still works to keep the chain clean. To understand why this deposit system matters, we need a 15-second explainer of Cardano's transaction model. Cardano uses something called the EUTXO model, Extended Unspent Transaction Outputs. It's kind of like digital cash. You spend old outputs to create new ones. In that model, if you don't set a minimum value, someone could just generate endless tiny outputs. Pennies, dust, digital crumbs. Imagine trying to run a database full of confetti. So min UTXO value prevents that. It's a guardrail, a spam blocker, a tiny rule that forces every transaction output to have enough ADA to be meaningful. Originally, this parameter was set to 1 ADA flat, but in 2021, it shifted to a calculated amount based on how much data the output contains, because some outputs, especially multi-asset ones, take up more space. So how you'll see this in real life. First, sending an NFT typically requires a little extra ADA. Later, your wallet might say that you have 7 ADA, but you can only send 5. That's because the other 2 ADA are kind of parked under those NFTs. Okay, now the fun part. In June 2024, someone tried to attack Cardano by slamming the network with hundreds of tiny transactions. Classic denial of service stuff. The kind of attack that could clog weaker blockchains. Because of the min UTXO value, the attacker had to spend ADA for each spam transaction, like almost 1 full ADA per attempt. Imagine trying to graffiti a big wall, but the spray cans cost $1 each, and you need a new can every time you draw a line. That didn't stop the attack immediately, but it did slow it down dramatically. And then the best plot twist. Because of the type of transaction they use a type of reward transaction for the scheme, someone else figured out how to take their ADA back. So not only did the attack fail, the attacker basically paid someone else to stop them. Super funny story, but also a perfect example of a really useful parameter in action. Min UTXO value doesn't get too many headlines. It's not glamorous and it's not particularly controversial. It keeps the ledger lean, it discourages spam, it ensures every output has real weight. And as we've seen, it can even help fend off malicious attacks. So the next time your wallet tells you that you need to include more ADA in a transaction, just remember, it's keeping Cardano running smoothly and ready for whatever comes next. Before you go, stay tuned for a little bossa nova number from Suno.ai about our friend min UTXO value.
My wallet says I've got 7, but I can only send 5. The numbers don't quite add up, but the blockchain's still alive. There's a rule beneath the surface, quiet like a summer tide. A little minimum of love waste that's keeping misaligned. Oh, min UTXO, you always tell me not so low. You're the cover charge for staying on the ledger as we're playing. Min UTXO, you keep the spam from overflow. You hold a little A-Day close to keep the network safe, you know. Every token in my pocket, every NFT I own has a tiny bit of A-Day, like a seat they have to hold. It's not a fee, it's just a promise till the outputs move again.